I had the flu for the entirety of Thanksgiving week. God, it sucked. It made me, every time I get sick, one of the takeaways that happens is I'm just so appreciative for not being sick. I am the one preaching constantly about how health is wealth. I understand how like priceless it is to feel fantastic. But I also take for granted how good I feel. I didn't realize how desensitized to feeling good that I felt until I felt like crap from the flu. And it was this time it hit me. Boy, it felt like I was getting stabbed in the abdomen. It really sucked, and it felt just like a big bowl of awfulness. And I hated how weak I was. And man, appreciate your health. Appreciate I man, blessed be. Truly is a priceless thing. And so here's some recommendations also for y'all, for you to get back on the health train. Just so you know, every time you experience something, you're experiencing it in a particular specific bodily context. You either feel amazing, or you feel awful, or you feel something in between. And I'm really a big fan of the striving and the aspiration to feel amazing. And why not? We all want amazing lives. You want an amazing vacation. You want an amazing significant other. You want an amazing job, but you don't want to feel amazing. A lot of people think that certain decisions they make in regards to the external world is going to lead them to that amazing feeling, especially like again, like to say falling in love. That's the amazing feeling I'm looking for. Or getting that promotion. That's the amazing feeling I'm looking for. Moving to a particular environment. That's that amazing feeling. That is the most temporary of temporary. To me, the feeling of that we should be really prioritizing in regards to that chasing of all the variety of highs that are available to us, 100% is that feeling of richness that you get from being healthy. Because again, that's why I can't stress enough that health, throw looks out the window, screw the looks, screw how any compliments people give you for losing weight or for looking good. Forget all that, throw that out the window. The true prize in healthiness is feeling amazing, which is why I'm not so much a fan of veganism, because I don't believe. I think that you could feel better with at least incorporating eggs. I will get down with vegetarianism because at least you will incorporate eggs, and I think eggs are a big factor in assisting in that feeling of goodness. I'm not saying you can't feel good with being a vegan, but if we're really being competitive here, if we're really being greedy here, and we're like, dude, I want to feel great, I think vegetarianism is probably better for you than veganism, because at least you're getting something like eggs into your diet. And other than that, in healthiness, what else is there? How's your love lives going? How's your pursuit of that? I hear so much about the dating scene with people and how hard it is. I just want to, again, I guess I'll encourage you as well. How about men? Men, I'll start with you, fellas. Focus on growing and evolving. I assure you that on the other side of that, you'll meet an amazing woman. Focus on your growth, and you will be surprised at how many social things fall into place. If you really do have an interest in your sleep, in your diet, in challenging yourself with physical activity, whether it be yoga, running, weights. Weights are beautiful. Weights are always beautiful. Weights are really an elixir. It's crazy picking up some heavy weights. Just what that does, just picking them up. It's crazy how the effect that it has on your system. And then healthy conversations. If you strive to see women as human beings, that's not even for some kind of like feministic thing. That's really the key. Honestly, understanding that a woman is a human that might be different from you, but she's still a human, and understanding that, I think that you will find that woman that you're looking for. What a lot of people don't want to do, they don't want to put the time and the effort into the trial and error of it, which just trips me out, because I'm like, how badly, I guess you really don't want a partner. I guess you really don't want that romantic interest you claim that you're interested in, because again, people stick their nose up at Tinder. I really don't understand, because it's such a numbers game, and it's all about compatibility, and you bring your unique personality to even the text part of it, and then they will bring theirs, and y'all personalities will be compatible or not. And like, and if you really want to like just like out the gate say, hey, I'm not a big of a texter. I don't like texting. Can we talk? And just like give each and like have an audio conversation through on the phone. That's even better. And so do that. But it's just trips me out how like people don't even be trying hard. And like y'all, it's what do you think this is? Do you think it's there's somebody, my brother from another mother. Like he never got on. I don't put his business out there. He didn't get on Tinder or nothing, right? But he had such a his upbringing was such in New Orleans. Just this just goes for every guy in New Orleans. For many dudes in New Orleans, the since women were such a focal point of our everyday, like it was all about just at all times pursuing women. He had a like he never needs to. He will find a woman no matter. He'll find a woman in the damn grocery store, and he'll like be compatible with her or match up with her because he's that his skills, his romantic skills are that sharp. And then also he loves. Also, how much do you love women? Because he really loves women. Now let me move past him. How much do you really like love women? Like, you know, like that also helps. Like, do you really love the essence of women? Do you really love, and don't confuse that for being a simp, by the way. Don't confuse that for being a simp. You can love women and without putting them on this pedestal to where when their flaws come out, you just are oblivious to them, or when their flaws come out, you just give it all their flaws a pass, all their shortcomings a pass. You never challenge anything. That's not what loving women is about. When you have like a love for women, it's to me, it's like either you do or you don't. You got, and if you don't, that's fine. There's a spectrum of sexual intensity from asexual meaning you have no sexual energy in you. There's a bunch of asexual people. That's cool. And then there's the hypersexual, and where it's like you have an intense sexual drive and an intense attraction to women. That's cool too. And then there's everything in between. And you have to decide, what am I? Which one am I? And then you have to sort of base your approach off of that. And like work with what you got, with the strengths you got. And especially if you're like on the asexual spectrum, you have to acknowledge that and be honest about that, and then approach thusly, and then have somebody that's compatible with you. There's a bunch of women who are on the asexual spectrum as well. And then all my recommendations for women, the thing I see with a lot of women is, yeah, y'all really got to get social media out of your brains. Many women don't mess with social media, but social media will corrupt your mind. Social media will having you think all kinds of bullshit in regards to men. This goes for both men and women. Y'all are getting really discombobulated and confused. One thing that was very helpful when I was sick recently was that like I just completely like let go of social media and like any kind of scrolling, and then I have something else going on in my life that's fairly new, which also enabled me to like just not even give a shit about scrolling. Like I completely turned me off to scrolling, and it's been very helpful. I feel so free. I feel so free that this world, at least the virtual world, is not in my head, because it will corrupt you. It will have you thinking all kinds of bullshit. The best thing you could do for yourself as a man or a woman seeking your significant other, seeking a partner, and by the way, I hate this bullshit where it's like you have to go into it looking for a relationship. Can we talk about that just for a hot second? You do not have to give a damn about a relationship to want to have a romantic interaction. It could just be about, I'm just looking around, I just want to talk with somebody, have some fun, and that's it. And guess what? When you're truly compatible with that person, and when you truly do hit it off with them, you end up wanting more from them. And if you don't want more from them, that's fine too. I really do hate this notion of, if you're not dating to marry, then what's the point? I watched this this show on these clips on YouTube called It's the Dave Ramsey Show, and it's a gentleman who basically, an oversimplification is, he's a financial voice, a voice of financial wisdom, and what he greatly emphasizes is not going into debt. No credit card debt, no debt. And I'm a big fan of that, because I think that the credit card companies have done a number on this country, a number on us in our minds, in getting us to believe that credit scores and stuff are sexy. Like, my credit score is great, but I don't look at it as like it's great and that means something. And that means something like very, very like sexy or good about me. Like, credit is silly because you're owing somebody and you're paying, and because interest intrinsic and interest, this extra money that she would not have otherwise spent. So I'm a big fan of that. But one thing they do, they have these traditional Christian values on this show, and one thing that they do a lot is they encourage people to get married. Like even when they're 22 or 23, they're like, "You're not married yet." Mother effer's been together for like 2 years, and they're like in their early 20s. When are you getting married? And it's like, dude, stop rushing people to get married. This marriage fever. I'm not knocking marriage. I'm not knocking children. But I believe that there's something called I call it marriage fever, wedding fever, and children fever. And the implication in the fever is that you're not thinking clearly. You are not thinking clearly. It's not that you shouldn't get married, but do you really need to rush it in your when you're 22 years old? Do you really? I just don't understand. There's so many people that also call into the show that are getting divorced, that are divorced, and it's like, dude, like if people really want to get married, they will. Okay, there's no need. There should be no pressure. If people really want to have children, they will. You pressuring them is only, to me, it's only a negative. Pressuring people into getting married is only a negative. Pressuring people to having children is only a negative. If they really, genuinely, sincerely want these things, then they'll do it. No pressure is needed. Don't like, and who are they doing it for? To legitimize their life in your eyes? That's my biggest beef with marriage and children and stuff. Like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. I have to, like, your love is not valid to me simply because you're married. Your life isn't valid to me simply because you're having children. And then I saw this comment, I saw this thing regarding children, and somebody commented on how, like, self-serving is to have children. And then a comment underneath it was saying that, how is it self-serving to have children? Are you kidding me? Of course it's self-serving to have children. The reason why it's self-serving to have children is because you're creating these beings that did not ask to be born, and you're being very presumptuous by assuming that you're going to give them this life that you presume that they want or that they need. A lot of parents do not raise their children in a way that prepares them for life. And so, again, you're not necessarily doing a child a favor by creating this child. Just because you created a child doesn't mean you're going to provide them with the proper resources, the proper psychological internal resources, and the discipline and all the development that's necessary to prop them up for life. A lot of these children are growing up, they're lost, and they're going to continue to be lost and have all kinds of unnecessary hardships as a result of incompetent parenting. So that is a very self-serving thing. Presumptuous in creating a child is if, like, yeah, because I created you, you're going to have this awesome life. That's not necessarily the case. Because where's the effort behind it? Where's the strategy behind it? Where's the healthiness behind it? To me, if you're not trying to really implant the 4 pillars: sleep, nourishment, physical activity, and healthy conversation, if that's not an emphasis for you, a lot of these children are misguided. Why do you think they're misguided? It's not just because, it's because their parents are not as wise as they think they are. And it's because oftentimes these people are creating children merely because they want legacy. They want somebody to look after them when they get older. They want to do it just because and also it's a very natural, primitive instinct. I sense it in me. If I was a rich man, I would selfishly have tons of children, but that's because I would have the resources and the capability to raise these children in a way that I thought would be ideal. And so I'm not mad at the instinct. I'm not mad at indulging our proclivity to have children. What I'm mad at is this notion that by default you're doing these yet to be created beings a favor. No, not necessarily. And you're doing it for you. You're not doing it because you're like, yes, it is implicit. Like in the most idealistic circumstances, you're going to try to do your best for your child. But so many parents don't. And it's very obvious that a lot of these parents will not. That you're just going about it in an automatic way. But we still congratulate them. We still act as if they're doing some kind of good for the world. Unless you're raising your child right, you're not doing the good. Anyway, but my point, I guess I'm running out of time, but I just wanted to rant about a few things. Blessings to everybody. Love ya. Hey, let's talk later. Hi. Bye.